Did Mourinho make a mistake fielding the likes of Mkhitaryan and Carrick, considering the League Cup finals this weekend?
Well, sitting here in hindsight, yes. I mean, Ibrahimovic has played an incredible amount of games as well, but I've always been a big advocate of trying to get continuity and consistency, and he's been unfortunate with injuries. Look, it was 3-0. Did he have to play them? Probably not. But I really don't have an issue with it, and I don't think it'll be a major problem for the Southampton game. They've actually got quite a strong squad, and I think they'll still relatively comfortably win that game. But yeah, there is an argument to say no, but I haven't personally got an issue with it. No.
Anyone got an issue with it?
No, I don't think Manchester United is in a position where they can pick and choose who to play and when to play. Manchester United needs to get wins, consistency. They need to get repetition. They need to get Mkhitaryan going, who, by the way, apparently is made of paper mache because he gets injured every 3 weeks. I find it that this is a team that, yes, it's important for them to be out on the field together in meaningful matches. Now, once you see it, that the game goes 3-0 and then you go 1-0, then clearly you're second-guessing yourself and probably saying, well, at this point, we can just walk through this. But injuries are part of the game. They happen, and that's why you apparently have a deep squad.
I've got Stevie Nicol here with me. We're talking Manchester United because this year the Red Devils are gunning for a different kind of, I'll call it the quadruple Stevie Nicol, because still very much in the FA Cup, League Cup finals, Europa League, and of course trying to get that top 4 spot in the Premier League. But many are saying that their squad is being stretched thin, too thin almost. Do you agree?
I don't actually. You know, listen, of all the sides in the Premier League, Manchester United are the one team, other than a couple of positions, of 2 teams that you wouldn't see the difference in the makeup of the team. You know, other than Pogba and particularly Ibrahimovic, everybody else fits in nicely and they can interchange without really any difference in the Manchester United performance.
All right, well, let's have a look at their upcoming fixtures because they do seem to be quite the busy team, especially starting this week with the likes of Europa League, and then they've got the League Cup final. Then they still very much have to throw the kitchen sink at the Premier League to get a top 4 finish. How do they prioritize? Because is Europa League their best shot at getting into the Champions League, or is a top 4 finish in the Premier League?
I think the way they're playing now and the run that they've been on, I would suggest that top 4 is looking the most probable. I think Mourinho, right up until now, has done a great job of switching his teams around, making good changes, keeping things fresh. But really, for me, the one thing and the one guy he has to make sure he looks after properly is Ibrahimovic. You know, this is the guy who will be the difference between Man United winning trophies or not, and certainly getting in the top 4. So I think he's done a good job up to now, Mourinho, but he has to look after Ibrahimovic.
All right, so he is indeed the key man. Well, as you heard, they're still very much alive in quite the number of competitions. We'll continue tracking them to see exactly which ones they do hold as a priority.
Can Manchester United win all cups and get top 4 with their squad depth? All cups. So they've got League Cup final, haven't they? FA Cup they're still in. Europa League.
Yeah, they can. They can, but I don't think that will happen. That's a huge ask, isn't it?
It is.
Well,
I think they finished top 4.
When did Liverpool do that? 2000?
I don't know.
2001.
2001?
Well, that's a guess. Is that when they won the Europa?
They won the UEFA Cup, didn't they?
UEFA Cup, yeah, against
they
that
won the League
Spanish
Cup,
team.
the FA Cup.
I can't remember. I don't think that will happen, but I tell you what, they could win this. I think they could be just putting their money in this Europa League this year.
Really?
Well, I think they might find that could be a better avenue in than the top 4.
No. Really?
I think they're going to finish top 4. I think they're going to finish top 4.
Why are you talking to me like that?
You know, Dan asked a question and answered himself.
You think the Europa League's easy? It's easier to finish top 4.
Shut up! We rubbish that competition every time we're on here. Now all of a sudden, you think it's great.
No, I just think that other countries take it more seriously than we do, therefore, I think it's tougher for United than maybe we suggest.
The big question dominating Manchester United right now is whether Wayne Rooney will still be at the club beyond the closure of the Chinese transfer window next Tuesday. From what I've been told, it's more likely that he will stay at the club simply because United need his presence, his experience, his goals to get them through the final stage of the season. They're still challenging for 4 trophies, certainly 3 trophies in Champions League qualification. And also there's a sense that while Rooney accepts that he's not playing as much as he would like to, wait until the summer when he'll have a year left on his contract would open up more options and give him more chance to consider the options in China, perhaps even in the MLS as well. So while it cannot be ruled out that something can happen next week, because if United receive a huge offer, that is the caveat to all this, if United receive a huge offer which makes it, you know, nonsensical for them to turn it down, I expect Rooney to be at the club beyond next Tuesday, and perhaps, you know, go out on a high in the end of the season with, you know, one or maybe two medals to show for his efforts. There is also the point to be made with Rooney that he said he wants to go out on high in the World Cup in Russia in 2018, so moving to China now would put those plans in jeopardy. So, you know, he's very mindful of his place in the history of the game, I guess. He wanted to make sure he broke the record at United. He also has the Bobby Charlton's England record now in terms of goals scored. So there are big questions for Rooney to answer. But I've been told that, you know, Rooney's not knocking the door down to leave United this month. He's mindful of the fact that, you know, he's been there for nearly 13 years and he doesn't want to go out, you know, the back door almost. He wants to go out on a high and ensure that when he does leave, he's done with, you know, maybe a trophy in his bag and a couple of medals.
Shaka Hislop joining me for this edition of Rumor Racer to find out which one he thinks are hits and which ones are misses. Let's start off with the one we have all been talking about. Wayne Rooney to the Chinese Super League. First, we were hearing that he could have gone as early as next week when their transfer window closes. But now we're hearing that he could hold off at least until this summer. Either way, Shaka, hit or miss?
Well, next week, miss. For the summer, I think is a hit. I don't think Wayne Rooney is going to go to, certainly not another Premier League club. And I'm not sure who else in Europe takes that kind of a chance and pays that kind of money. So as I mentioned, before the close of the Chinese transfer window next week, no. This summer, absolutely a hit.
All right, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Manchester City, could that be a new home for him?
Well, it could be, and this one kind of come out of the blue a little bit. I will say, though, that Oxlade-Chamberlain, exactly the type of player that Pep Guardiola has gone to in Manchester City. When you look at their front four, all four very young, all four very quick, and he's found his opportunities tough to come by at Arsenal. Now, the question is, where does he fit in? Does he get in ahead of Raheem Sterling on the right-hand side, who himself has been maybe a little bit inconsistent, but I feel he's found more consistency under Pep Guardiola. I'm a little bit torn on this one. I'm going to say a hit for now, because he ticks the boxes, though I'm still not sure who he gets in ahead of.
All right, Daley Blind, would a move away from Old Trafford suit his career best?
Well, I don't see a future for Daley Blind right now, and I do feel sorry for him. I feel he's been used in a number of different positions which maybe hasn't suited him and has affected his confidence. Maybe a move away is exactly what he needs. I still think that Manchester United are a long way away from where they should be or where many would expect them to be. So I'm going to put this down as a hit to leave Manchester United.
Chicharito, a move to MLS, not quite 30, and we know that some of these MLS clubs will have to shell out quite the dollar for him. Would it be a hit?
Chicharito is exactly the type of player that MLS needs and wants right now. Now, this rumor started a few months back where he was having such a torrid time at Leverkusen. Now, all of a sudden, he's found goals. He's refound his scoring boots. I think that actually works in his favor, because I think MLS has started to move away from that fading player in Europe. To have a player like Chicharito and everything he brings in terms of the Mexican fan base and back scoring goals, again, ticks every single box. It costs MLS a little bit more money to get him here as a result, but I think is exactly the move that the league needs.
Hector Bellerin now to Barcelona. Do you see that happening?
Absolutely. I've been talking about this one for quite some time. I just feel he's always been the right fit. And as much as Barcelona have been linked with other right backs and Bellerin has been linked with other clubs, I've always felt that is a destination for Bellerin. That is the club to acquire his services. I think it's also timely, given the defensive problems that we see Barcelona have, that this one crops up yet again, more serious. That will always be a hit.
Oh, tough day for Arsenal, but Shaka is in quite a happy mood. All hits for the big bad Shaka Hislop here, but as I said, tough day for Arsenal. It seems that they could be letting go some serious talent. Thanks so much, Shaka Hislop. For more on all of these rumors, you know exactly where to keep it.
Welcome to Extra Time. Thank you for your tweets. Manchester United still in all 3 cups and in fight for 4th place. Yet why do people, i.e. Shaka Hislop, still criticise Mourinho?
Well, he doesn't like him, does he?
When last have I criticised Mourinho?
He loves Mourinho. Remember that interview?
Hold on. When last have I criticised Mourinho?
I don't know. You've been quite nice to United recently.
Yeah, I even said they're going to finish top 4.
Oh, he's going high.
Who's that? Ahmed. Never mind.
What? The look away.
I'm going to step back from the ledge. Ahmed got me to the edge.
Restraint.
Step back.
I thought you didn't like Mourinho.
Huh?
I thought you didn't like Mourinho.
I love me, Mourinho.
Indiana Jones.
that was a big
Jones.
star.
Craig Burley. That's the latest person or fictional character that Zlatan Ibrahimovic is comparing himself to. Says he has success everywhere. After watching the 3 goals against Saint Etienne, hard to argue.
Oh, where's Indiana Jones these days? He's not.
He's
in the outback.
Isn't there like a 7th Indiana Jones?
I'm not sure, but he's doing great, isn't he? I mean, it's a perfect scenario for him because everyone knows he's got this huge ego. Right? He's a confident guy. That's been half his success. He's very talented, but he's very confident. And if he'd have come into Man United, and there was a lot of doubters, can't do it in England at 35, and the legs have gone. It's too easy in France. If he'd have come in and that had happened, he'd have hated it. Personally and professionally, he would have hated it. So he's absolutely gone the opposite end of the spectrum. Seb, he's loving this because he's getting all the attention. He's carrying that team, and quite rightly getting the attention. But I'm sure he wants a bit of success at the end of it in terms of where United are going to go.
You mentioned there's a lot of doubters. How surprised are you that he's where he is right now? 23 goals across all competitions, and we're in February.
Look, I would be lying if I said I thought he was going to be as prolific. I never thought it was going to be a disaster like some. I think I was somewhere in the middle. So he has, because of his age in particular, so he has exceeded those expectations. One of the reasons I felt that it wasn't going to be a disaster for him is because we overhype the defending in the Premier League. It's poor. I mean, it's poor. Man City can't put a defence together. You saw Arsenal the other night. Liverpool's Achilles heels is their defence. Then you go down the leagues to all the pub teams who can't hardly pass the ball for 5 passes, and they've got horrible defenders. And he's played against the best. So he was always going to bully these guys, in my opinion. So that's why I'm not totally surprised that he's scoring goals. However, 20-odd goals is quite special for a guy in his mid-30s.
He's on a 1-year deal. United have an option. They'll obviously want to keep him. But if Zlatan's goal is to win things, is United the best place to be? Are they going to contend for Champions League next year? Are they going to contend for the Premier League next season?
I think he's a bit late to move on somewhere else now. He's at a huge club. They're getting better. Whether they'll get in the top 4 this year remains to be seen, or Champions League via Europa League. They're in a League Cup final. So I think he can see, and I think his relationship, more importantly, with Mourinho has always been strong over the years. And I think he can see that if it stumbles a bit for United this year, the chances are they'll be a lot more competitive next year. So I don't envisage him leaving whatsoever. I think we'll see Zlatan, for me, 99.9% at United next year.
How long do you suppose that he can do this, maintain this high level? Because his skill set doesn't seem to rely on speed or overt athleticism that might wear away as you get older.
Maybe another couple of years, depending on who they bring in. I couldn't see him being in a Rooney situation unless Mourinho's got something over on him where he can get him to come off the bench and maybe be involved in 20 games a year. I can't see that, but I can see him being at United another couple of years, and I can see him playing in certain competitions and depending on who they bring in, younger, quicker, pacey, clever players, I don't see it an issue for him.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the new Indiana Jones at 35 years young.